Bang! Neeves Knives. I'm Jared, and we have the new AHAB prototype from Artisan designed by Nitch Designs. Now, this thing's pretty interesting. There's a lot to go through. Now, I know it has a unique look that either speaks to you or it doesn't, but stay tuned because there's a lot of little details here that might attract you. So, one thing, obviously, we have a harpoon slash modified harpoon Warncliffe blade, which is ridiculously slicey. It's very slicey. It's kind of like a chef knife because it is a full flat. It's not super thin behind the edge, but the geometry is made to cut for sure. Now, it's super slim in the pocket. We have a titanium backspacer, and there's going to be some changes. I'm going to go over that here in a second. Titanium milled clip, hidden hardware, and if you look at it, it almost has like a fish look with the milling and the scales because it has a ton of milling. You might not be able to pick it up on the camera, but I can see it in person really, really good. Go on this side, you can see through the G10. Now, obviously with different G10, you're not going to be able to see that, but at least you can see all the hardware that is actually under the scale. So, the action is insanely good. The thumb studs, they're going to be changed. We'll talk about that in a second, but the grippiness of the thumb studs, the placement, and just the positioning, height, all of that. Now, I know that's going to be changed, but this thing kicks. You have so much leverage into the thumb stud action or reverse flicking action. You have some jimping under here to help lock you in right behind the edge. It is super slim, but it is a very comfortable grip. The access to the lock bar is really good. It is very smooth. Not fall shut action, but it seems like it's quite a light blade. And this is only a prototype, but so maybe the final production might be a little bit smoother on the drop, but it's still very, very smooth. I mean, it's drop shut-y. It's just not like fall shut, which it doesn't have to be, and I'm not saying that that's bad that it's not, because it's very, very smooth. Excuse me. The placement of the thumb studs, though, man, you can place your thumb right on top or under or to the side. It does not matter. I can even do that. Look at this. I don't know any other knife I can do that with, where I can take my pointer finger, bring it around to the front, and snap it open. The reverse flick, also really good. It's super fun to fidget with. Now, the slow roll, another thing, really good because it's like you're just doing a half circle, and that's always been a satisfying feeling to me when I can just do a half roll. The lockup, nice solid lockup. You can really hear it crack into position. Super solid lockup. Now, what's going to be changed really quick. So the thumb studs are going to be shortened. We're going to go over this front page because we're going to go over some of the design attributes, but the thumb studs are going to be changed. They're going to be knocked down, a little bit smaller. The blue is the original, that's what's on there now, and then the gray is what it's going to be. So that's going to be knocked down. Next thing, this little spot right here is going to be chamfered a little bit, or, contoured, rounded, whatever. It's not going to be pokey anymore. You can see how they're going to round it out just a little bit, more like this. Next, the harpoon, the spine is sharp right here, so they're going to knock down the edges. So I'll put a little chamfer around the edges. Doesn't really bother me, and it makes it to where you can really choke up, with the harpoon style blade. A lot of leverage down into that tip. We'll go into that stuff here in a second. And then all the hardware is going to be changed to T8s. That's great. The stop pin and lanyard pin are also, the stop pin is going to be shouldered, so they're going to knock a groove out right here to shoulder it into the stop pin. And then I'm not sure what's going to happen with the lanyard pin, but it's got a hidden lanyard pin. I don't have no problem with that. And then the detent ball placement is going to be changed. So you can see how the detent comes out right there when you close it. They're going to position it to where you don't see it. Now, I don't know how easy that's going to be because of the positioning of the pivot. This is a hidden pivot. All the hardware is hidden in it. So you can see the pivot, though. It's up pretty tall. Or, it's not like right here in the center. So, but hey, if they can get it done, they can get it done. It just seems like it might be a little difficult. But, hey, they say they're going to do it. That's what they're going to do. Now, let's look at this front page really quick, and then we're going to go over what I think about these things. So, the design takes inspiration from the harpoon-wielding captain, I'm guessing it's AHAB, of the literary classic Moby Dick, 3.5-inch harpoon-worny blade, whale-like silhouette, and skeletonized nested stainless steel liners to match it. It features thumb studs only deployment with my sunflower thumb studs 3D contoured and radiused 3D milled clip with hidden hardware. The star of the show is the tall, slicey flat grind on the blade that tapers ridiculously thin behind the edge, terminating in a very precise tip, perfect for piercing cuts. The harpoon allows you to securely move your thumb far up the blade spine in a saber grip to get excellent leverage for push cuts. Much of the hardware, including the pivot, is concealed under the scales to create a clean, simplified look. The knife will initially be sold with Artisan Cutlery proprietary ARRPM9 steel and G10 scales, aiming for a sub-100 street price, with possible upgraded version in S35VN and micarta scales. Now, I don't like the JG10. I don't like the blade, the edge termination here. I think that they should definitely do something about that, because I'm a sharpener and I can already see what's going to happen. When I sharpen this, it's going to create a huge smile right here. For sure, 100% there's going to be a smile there. I might be able to get one sharpening in without that happening if I don't change the angle. But if I change the angle, which I would immediately want to do, I'm going to hit the plunge grind. I do like the geometry. I love the swedge on the top. It just looks like it wants to do some utility cuts. And I can tell without even cutting with it that this thing is going to cut like a beast. Now, it is very slim, so it's not going to be the most ergonomic, meaning it's not going to be like a Benchmade Griptilian, right, where it's contoured in your hand, but it's still very comfortable, and I can still feel that I'm going to get a lot of leverage. Now, back here, this kind of pokes out right there, so it's not the best for utility cuts when that does that, but because of the blade shape, it's going to make it still very easy to do utility cuts, whether it's sideways, moving back, and you can kind of let the handle go that way like that. So there's a lot of different ways to grip this knife. Now, it's interesting to me that the JG10 and the milled out liners looks like a fish, since he's getting design features from Moby Dick. So I think that's hilarious. It kind of has a little bit of a whale-like look. However, I don't like JG10 that much. I like it in the sense that I'm going to dye it, but not in the sense of keeping it. It gets dirty. Yes, you can wash it, or dye it. But yeah, I would definitely prefer different color G10 or micarta. The clip looks like it's going to work great in and out of the pocket. It does feel pretty good in the hand. It's not bothering me at all. I am worried because I can tell that when you pull this out of the pocket, yes, the thumb studs are going to snag, and yes, you could use it as, a quick deployment if you want. And what I mean is when you have it in the pocket, when you're pulling it out, the thumb studs will snag. And it'll make it to where you can just keep pulling, and it'll deploy the knife for you. However, a lot of people don't like that, so they're going to knock down the thumb studs. Now, the benefit to this, and what feels so cool about this, is the tall thumb stud, so I'm not sure how that's going to play out in the end. It might be really good, and it might be a downfall. I don't know. It's hard to say without holding it in my hand and feeling it. I might like it better. It's hard to say, but holding it right now, I love these thumb studs. Not necessarily in and out of the pocket, but in hand, flicking it. So I'm not a big fan of the wave feature either, so I don't really care about that, but I do like the way they feel just deploying it and using it. I like the thought of the hidden hardware and, all that good stuff. I love T8, so that's cool. Change it all to T8. There are some things that are going to change, so, after all that's said and done, it might feel and be a little bit different, but not so much to where I can't sit here and think about it and know what I'm getting into. I do like it. However, I think it's ugly. It is very ugly. That is the one downfall. It is ugly. It is ugly. But I do think there's times where knives that might not look the best or might look ugly actually grow on you, and you wind up falling for them, or you wind up loving them because of how well they work as a tool, as a functioning cutting tool. And this might be one of them. I don't know. I have not used it yet. It seems like it's probably going to be, but like I said, I haven't used it yet. This is just the first impressions. I am going to link everything I can down in the description for you guys, including Nitch Designs Instagram, so you can stay up to date with this. But there you guys go. I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching. Peace.